Well, TNA had their first pay-per-view of 2026 last night. TNA Genesis 2026. Coming off the heels of a much maligned and criticized and awful premiere on AMC, the TNA decided to bounce back with a fine show, I guess. Some good wrestling, some positive signs for the future, some hype for the second episode on AMC. Mike Santana is still your TNA World Champion. The Hardys are still your TNA World Tag Team Champions. Lei Ying Lee is still the TNA Knockouts World Champion. JDC has retired, but was it really better than the AMC debut? We're going to talk about that. We're going to break it all down for you. It's B, it's Chris G, it's our TNA Genesis 2026 review. Let's hit the intro and let's get to it. Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for our TNA Genesis 2026 review. Breaking down last night's show from TNA Wrestling, the first TNA Wrestling pay-per-view of 2026, coming off of the heels of a much talked about, much debated AMC debut. And we're here to break it all down for you as only we can. And to do that, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, the TNA expert when it comes to the True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. He is also my co-host on True Hill Heat Check, talking about all things NBA on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. He is the one and only Chris G. CG. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Not feeling too good after that. After these last couple days for TNA, to be honest, not feeling too good.
Well, it was a rough go for the AMC premiere. I appreciate you. You did the review for our shorts as you always do. You always keep track of TNA. I even asked you on Thursday evening if you were gonna do Blunt Impact and watch the TNA AFC premiere, and I realized that was like asking somebody to go like sit on the edge of a cliff and there's a car coming their way.
Hey, at least I responded and contemplated it. The 4-time baby making champion, my partner. Haven't heard from him in years. We got that motherfucker on a milk carton. He's already off the cliff.
Legit, I have not heard from him. He did vote, though. He did vote for the True Hill Heat year-end awards. That was the last time. He does respond to that. If it's something like he can just send a message and give a top 5 for, he answers those. But he did not answer my call for Blunt Impact.
We got to put up a Nest signal. Like somebody put the Nest signal.
Absolutely. Well, yes, we're here to talk all about TNA Genesis 2026. We appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You could also sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you, especially if you're with us live. But if you're not, if you're watching us on demand, comment down below and let us know what you thought about TNA Genesis 2026. Did you go in with like a sour taste in your mouth coming off the heels of the AMC debut? And did they bounce back, in your opinion? We want to know from all of you guys what you thought about last night's show and if they were able to rebound off of the much maligned AMC premiere. We already got in the chat with us Zach Minger letting us know, good morning, SP3 and Chris G. National Winnie the Pooh Day. That was useful. Also, if you're with us live in the chat, if you're feeling generous, you want to get back to what we do here, you want to show your support to our TNA wrestling coverage, you could do so with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate the support. We would always love to highlight those comments as well and appreciate that because it goes a long way to help the channel grow and move forward. And we always appreciate that. We got Bloody Money 47. Good to see you in the chat. He says all titles retain, not surprise. Mike Santana retained on his first defense. I saw this a little bit of conversation online, but do you think it was a bad move doing the AMC premiere on the same week as a pay-per-view? Because I think that there was a lot of stuff on this show that could have been on the AMC premiere and that would have been viewed and received a little bit better.
I feel like the visa issues played a slight part in it because you would have had Macklin out there, so you would have had like another title match with Stacks probably.
Well, just to make it clear, Macklin was not a visa issue. Macklin was, they just didn't book him.
Really? I thought it was a travel issue as well.
It was just Leon and anyone who was out of the country. Steve Macklin's in New Jersey.
Okay, well, Leon Slater definitely missing hurt it because you would have got two bangers out of him, right? He would have had, well, I mean, they would have found somebody for him to go up against instead of Myron Reed, right? Because Myron Reed ended up being at AEW, and then you would have got
there was the report that Myron Reed was open to still honoring the date though, so they could have gave Leon a win over an AEW star.
You think TNA would have did that?
I mean, I would have done that.
I would have done it too, but who the fuck knows if TNA would have done it, right?
Hey, you watched last night's Collision. Kevin Knight just pinned a future WWE SmackDown star.
Who's that? Oh, yeah.
Powerhouse
Okay,
Hobbs.
got you. Yeah, got it. Figured it out. It took me a while, but I was like, oh, these motherfuckers on the trios titles yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think that hurt a little bit. There's definitely things that you could have jumbled up between both nights. I think the premise of trying to make the AMC debut strong was to get whatever casual viewers that are going to come on AMC and then try to get them to tune into TNA Genesis, right? So I think the idea was good. I don't have a problem with the idea, but I just think the execution fell flat.
Yeah, I just think that maybe they should have like moved the pay-per-view either earlier, and the pay-per-view like the week earlier there was like nothing going on in wrestling that weekend after the first weekend had like Wrestle Kingdom, second weekend really didn't have anything. You could have moved the pay-per-view up to that week and the pay-per-view could have built into the AMC premiere.
Either or, you could have did either or. I think with the whole AMC thing, I think they were just trying to capitalize on how many as many new casual viewers that they've gotten on AMC, if they did get any. But yeah, I think that was the thinking towards it.
No. I got Bloody Money who says Nic Nemeth cash-in attempts foiled once again. Next week is the Feast or Fired. We also got Kane Lake, who says, hello everyone. We got Clown in the chat. Good to see you, good brother. Says, good morning, everyone. We got Mr. Towns in the chat saying, what's up, SP3, Chris G, and chat. Good to see you as well. Bloody Money saying, SP3, imagine Nic Nemeth successfully cashing in his Call Your Shot gauntlet and win the world title and F over Mike Santana. If you listen to that crowd last night, that's kind of what they wanted. They booed when Mike Santana foiled it.
It was split. It was split. I would say more people booed than cheered, but I heard some cheers in there. It wasn't a complete like everybody. It wasn't no WrestleMania night after WrestleMania cash in. You feel me? Where everybody was on their feet waiting for Dolph. You know, only like 80%, maybe 75% of the crowd really wanted Nemeth to cash in. And I don't even think anybody wanted to see him like actually win the title. I think they just wanted just the moment of the cash in. Yeah, I kind of thought this was a possibility once they inserted him as the special guest referee. I was like, come on, man, you can't do my boy Santana like this again. But I'm glad they didn't.
It was hilarious when we were doing final predictions on True Hill Heat yesterday. John Escudero and True Draw Josh were both like, "Oh, Santana's gonna win," and then Nic Nemeth cashes in, Call Your Shot. There was like this. It's this company after the AMC premiere. Like all bets were off.
It's just, I mean, that's like the logical TNA move. That's what I'm pretty sure everybody thought it was gonna happen, but I'm glad they swerved us, I guess.
We also got a Clown who mentions KJ Orso pulled a Rick Rude and showed up in TNA last night, then drove over to GCW and beat Effie. That was probably one of my biggest things from the show. It was on the pre-show was KJ Orso, because it doesn't look like he signed to TNA yet. But he's the type of talent that I would like them to get. I need them to get young guys who are on the independent scene that are working hard. And KJ Orso is one of the best heels on the indies right now. Like, he really has worked hard and reinvented himself from Fuego del Sol, taking off the mask, having that great program with Atticus Cogar in GCW, where he lost his mask in the matchup at Joey Janela's Spring Break. And then over the past year, he has become the savant as this like very cocky, arrogant, but smart heel. He turned on his best friend, Sam Stackhouse. He had so many good promos and programs and matches over the last year. Those are the type of talents that I want TNA to sign more, but they seem to be going like too far into the ex-WWE route.
Yeah. It's funny because they introduced everybody in the Fatal 4-Way match, and they introduced KJ Orso. I'm like, I haven't really read much about him, right, to be honest. So I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I see him in the ring. I'm like, oh, this guy's not that bad. Like, they say he was like a 9-year veteran out of Dallas. I'm like, oh, he's been around, like, he. And then we go to the chat, and you tell me he's Fuego del Sol. I'm like, oh, I know this motherfucker. I'm like, oh, I'm glad that he's back, doing something different, reinventing himself, and now hearing the news that, or that he's been killing it the last year in the indies and shit, that's good for him. This is the type of talent that TNA should go after, kind of get those traveled veterans and, mold them a little bit for TV and see what happens.
Yeah, you got to give these guys an opportunity and a shot. Like we talked about yesterday, AEW signing Alec Price and Jordan Oliver. Those are the type of talents that we want to see TNA get. Like, make it new. Like, you have your veterans already intact, like Frankie Kazarian, Nic Nemeth, Santana, Moose, Eddie Edwards. But you need some like young, youthful talent for the from the independent scene to come on to TNA right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with this new era. We got Davion who says, what's up, y'all? Didn't watch the show. My Seahawks kicked ass, and I just wanted to say hi. Thank you. Don't worry. You don't have to watch the show. We'll tell you everything that happened. We got you.
Yeah.
We got you.
Sam Darnold, bring that championship. It's the closest thing the Jets get into a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, baby. Bet the house.
Who you got winning the Super Bowl this year?
I don't know. It's kind of open. I mean, I think between what's today's games? The Rams. I think the Rams are probably going to win that game, and then it's a toss-up between the Patriots and Texans, because the Texans got the best defense in the league, but just like you can never count out the Patriots. They're just great. They're just beautifully coached. They're a beautifully coached team, and if Drake May's on fire, can't stop.
I tend to always lead towards the Rams because my LA bias. Ever since becoming a Lakers fan, I just like I'll root for the Dodgers and I'll root for the Rams when they're in the playoffs if my teams are not there.
I get it. I get it.
Let's get into this show. As always, with our pay-per-view reviews, Chris G, give me one word, one phrase to give your overall thoughts on TNA Genesis 2026.
Unappealing. And I don't mean that from a like aesthetic standpoint or anything. I mean this from a pivotal period of time where you're trying to capture new viewers. You had the AMC debut. Hopefully you got some new viewers to watch Genesis. Wasn't the best show to put out for those new viewers. So that's why it's unappealing.
Yeah, it's pretty much for me. I'm gonna stick more positive, but I will explain. My for one word, one phrase is better than the AMC premiere.
Yeah.
But to explain, the bar was in the center of the earth, so it was a very low bar to overcome.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, this is slightly better than the AMC debut, but it wasn't good enough to save the AMC debut.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh man, like that show was awful, but this one was great. No, it wasn't like that. It was just this one was fine. But like I do agree, unappealing as far as like capturing those new viewers that they could potentially get. I don't know. I like my big question coming out of the AFC premiere, and I saw it multiple times on social media. I don't know what fans TNA is trying to get at this point. Are you trying to get like I said on when we were talking about the AFC premiere, I was like, maybe it's going for like the lapsed WWE fan from the 2010s and the lapsed AEW fans from the early 2020s who fell off after Brawl Out. Maybe they're trying to get them, but I don't see how the product that they're putting out there is going to keep those viewers.
Yeah, I don't know. We had to. I'd give them a couple weeks just to see if they can like settle their feet into like a certain direction, and we'll get a more clearer vision of like who they're trying to attract. But if they're just trying to basically give the same fan base that they had just an easier route to watch them, it's kind of a waste of being on a network like AMC.
Yeah. And especially with their very much everything about this company right now is WWE light. It very much feels like this is a development.
We got WWE at home.
Yo, it's a Temu WWE. Like it's like when you're a lesser product than the third brand than NXT of WWE, like that's not what you want. You either want to be on the level of NXT and you're like the fourth brand, or you want to be better than NXT and deliver something that can make you identifiable. But the things that TNA has built their identity on, the X division, the Knockouts division, neither of those divisions are in a good state right now. And the X division is with the champion that they have because Leon Slater is one of their biggest stars, but it's very obvious he has 1 foot out of the door at this point, or he's getting 1 foot pulled out of the door because WWE's like, no, we know how talented he is. We're taking him.
He's basically an NXT superstar already. He did the same thing with Joe Hendry. They're gonna do the same thing with Leon Slater.
Thank you. Yes, you're absolutely right. We got Jordan in the chat. Good to see you once again, Jordan. You've been keeping up with us as of late. We appreciate you for that. He says, cheers, guys. Thanks for the streams. SP3, respect the consistency. You remind me of a young Dave Meltzer, and he's still going. I don't always like to be compared to Dave Meltzer, but I do come with star ratings and I watch a whole lot of wrestling, so I understand the comparison. Thank you.
And you love the Tokyo Dome matches, damn it.
I get an extra star for the Tokyo Dome. We got Davion who says, hence why we call it WWE TNA. I call it NXTNA, but
NXTNA, yeah.
And yes, it is very much feeling like NXT light, and especially when you consider the first match on the show, on the pre-show, which had the international championship matchup that we were talking about before. You had KJ Orso come out first. They did explain he was in TNA back in 2019, called Diego del Sol at that time. You got Eric Young, who's still ticking away, still here after multiple deaths in TNA. He is still here.
I think we said it. He's like the first man to come back 3 times.
Then you got BDE, who's a fellow YouTuber, 1.5 million viewers. He's even doing streaming as he's making his entrance, and he busts his ass. Did you see that?
Yes.
Did you see that?
hell of a way to make an entrance.
Then you got Channing Stacks Lorenzo with Ariana Grace, our champion, and the matchup. You get the heels jumping the baby faces early on, but you get Young and BDE start brawling at ringside while Orso and Stacks were working in the ring. You get Orso was pretty good in this matchup, flying around, doing the kip ups, and a different type of agility being showed off throughout the matchup. Stacks gives him a snake eyes in the corner. BDE dropped Young with a shot and then vlogged about it, which was hilarious. Stacks, though, knocks down BDE, and then Grace picks up BDE's phone and starts shooting content saying that this is what the people really want to see, but that gives BDE enough time to recover, and he hits a big dive onto Stacks and then gets his phone back from Ariana. KJ Orso does another dive, and it leads to the two baby faces in the matchup teaming up against Young and Stacks. We get Young and Stacks, cuts them off with clothesline. Stacks dumps Orso, and then BDE held his own against Young and Stacks, taking Young out with a code red, and then Stacks with a big drop kick. He then hits what he calls the clip cutter, which is basically the Cody cutter or the Os cutter. Orso caught Young with a sliced bread and then hits a double stomp to the back of the head of Stacks. That's his finisher in GCW. I thought it was over right there, but he didn't even go for the cover. He then hits the Orso driver on BDE, which is like an inverted tiger driver. BDE caught Stacks with the springboard cutter, the clip cutter, but Young took BDE out with a neck breaker. He then picks up Orso and he delivers his power driver finisher, but he gets thrown out of the ring by Stacks. Stacks gets the cover 1, 2, 3 on Orso to pick up the victory and retain the TNA International Championship. Post-match, he is given the title by TNA President Carlos Silva, and he doesn't give him a handshake. I thought that Orso looked good in this matchup, and I would think that this was enough to get him another look or at least a tryout or a job with TNA, because he was the highlight of this matchup for me. BDE looked good for a guy that's very young in his career as well. Eric Young, the consummate professional, and Stacks was Stacks. This went over about 6.5 minutes. I give it 2 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, I gave it 2.25. I remember seeing KJ like in certain parts of the matches be like, this motherfucker reminds me of like a smaller Ricky Saints. Like just his appearance and just kind of like his mannerisms a little bit. Now that he switched his style up a little bit, it's like, because he a little Ricky Saints in this guy. But he definitely did his thing. And I think BDE did good too. He's funny, like he has charisma, you know what I mean? So, and he's athletic as shit, so you could see the potential with him. So I was happy to see those guys show out. Stacks winning, not surprised. Wish he didn't, but it is what it is. 2.25.
We go backstage and we see Santino's disappointed that his son-in-law got the win after putting him in this 4-way to get the title off of him. Daria Rae then approaches him and talks down to him, tells him to not interrupt her, and says that they need to start doing things fair in TNA. And okay, Daria Rae, she is Sonya Deville for TNA.
I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. She got something to her that like makes her like wanna, you kind of want to hate her. Not in real life, on screen, of course. So I don't know. I think she's gonna be good in that role.
I just don't need the same story she did with Adam Pearce, but with Santino. It
Well,
just
blame Adam Pearce for that.
that's
He set the standard. Fucking punk. Grow some balls. I was yelling "grow some balls" in Brooklyn in the first episode of Netflix Raw. I was starting "grow some balls" chant every time they showed Adam Pearce.
I love it. I love it. We got Rachel in the chat. Good to see you again, Rachel. Appreciate you saying I'm only available to watch your streams live on the weekends or the beginning of the week. I typically have something to say, but I have nothing. I don't watch TNA anymore. But hi, guys. LOL. We appreciate you just for saying hi, Rachel. And we totally understand if you don't watch TNA anymore.
That's why we're here, to break it down for you, so you don't even gotta waste your time.
Exactly. If there's something you need to watch, we will let you know. But we appreciate you for watching the streams and keeping up with the chat here as well. We got our good brother, the True Jaw Josh, who simply says LOL TNA.
Oh yeah, he's been saying that shit for 7 days straight. He's just been on a roll.
They've given him enough material that
I think it's warranted.
Like, where yes, it is kind of warranted. We got Davion. He says, "Find you someone who loves you like Eric Young loves TNA. He will always be back. He will always come back."
Yeah, they keep bringing him back to life. Definitely need somebody like that who knows how to resurrect you.
Yeah. Okay, so the double stomp by KJ Orso is called the Character Assassination, which is a great name.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that. I heard them say it before on GCW, but Clown is our GCW expert in the chat. Appreciate you for letting us know that little tidbit. We get the panel for the show was the Gia Miller. I think they had the dude from Busted Open, Dave LaGreca, Tommy Dreamer, and Santino. No, Ash by Elegance was the fourth person. Ash by Elegance for the panel. And then that segues into a tag team matchup we saw earlier in the night. Tessa Blanchard's crew, the Diamond Collective, were treating people badly in the back, and then Indi Hartwell stood up to them after they mocked Vicious Vicki and an extra looking for an opportunity in the back, which would lead to a tag team matchup here. We get the Elegance brand, the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, with the personal concierge as well as Mr. Elegance. They come out dressed like sheriffs to watch the next matchup from their seats, literally right next to the ring, which I was like, this is going to cause some type of trouble, right? There was enough people at ringside for this matchup that it could have been a lumberjack match, but hey. Was a match. We get Tessa Blanchard and Mila Moore of the Diamond Collective with Victoria Crawford, aka the former Alicia Fox, and Robert Stone, aka the former Robbie, versus Indi Hartwell and Vicious Vicki Venuto, who is one of my friends on social media. Shouts out to her getting this opportunity here. Hartwell held their own against Blanchard. When Vicious Vicki tagged in, she was overwhelmed by the heels. She tried to make a comeback. She covered up in the corner when Blanchard went on the charge, so Blanchard stopped and then slapped her. The crowd started chanting for something. I don't think they knew Vicious Vicki's name yet. Then they changed for Indi, who got the hot tag. She comes in, hits a big boot, spine buster for a near fall. Vicious Vicki went to the top, so Stone distracted the referee so Crawford could yank her off the top. Hartwell went after Crawford, but got into it with the Elegance brand at ringside, who pulled her out of the ring. This led to Blanchard taking advantage. She hit Vicious Vicki with the Hammerlock DDT for the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory for the Diamond Collective. This one went a little bit longer than the opener. I don't know why, but it went about almost 8 minutes. Diamond Collective picking up the win here. I give this 1.5 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, this was like an impromptu match. I was making dessert. Oh, I was whipping up some brownie mix. I'm like, oh, this is going on right now. And whatever I saw, nothing crazy, nothing terrible, nothing good. So 1.5 sounds about right.
He said nothing terrible, but nothing good. So right
it
in
was
the
just
middle.
there. It was just there. Yeah.
But that would lead us into the main card. The main card of the show, we get, of course, Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywald on commentary. And they kicked off with a battle of first class. AJ Francis with YouTuber and content creator Primetime. No idea who that is. Versus Rich Swann. TNA seems to have an endless supply of streamers and content creators now involved with the company or in the crowd. Swann is dressed as a Dallas Cowboys inspired gear to suck up to the crowd, I guess. We get Francis attacked Swann from behind to start, but Swann quickly rebounded, hit an Insiguri, a step up Rana, and then Francis went to the floor where Swann caught him with a twisting acai moonsault. Back in the ring, Swann went at Francis with kicks. He tried a handspring elbow, but Francis batted him down to take control. He choked Swann against the ring rope and then mauled him in the corner. The fight went to the outside. Swann avoided a countout loss by making it right back in before the count of 9. We get back in the ring, and Swann caught Francis with a desperation jawbreaker. Francis booted him down, though, for a near fall, and then Francis missed a senton. Swann took advantage with a couple of kicks. He hits a handspring cutter and then a 450 for a near fall. Swann went to the top, but Francis grabbed him by the throat and sent him to the mat. Swann cut off a moonsault attempt, and then Francis set Swann up for a superplex, but Swann managed to get out of it by biting the arm of Francis and sending him back to the mat with a headbutt. Swann came off the top with a crossbody, but Francis hits the TFL spear for a near fall. Francis then struggled to hit a Swann with a power bomb. Swann was able to wriggle out, but he went right into AJ, hitting the AJ Styles finisher, the Styles Clash. He tries to go for another one, but Swann is able to counter that into a destroyer and gets a near fall. Swann hits a frog splash. He goes for the pin, but Francis got his foot on the bottom rope. Francis then grabbed Swann by the back of the neck and spiked him down head first on the mat. He then follows up and he hits the down payment choke slam for the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here and finally put a close to this first class breakup that's been going on over the last couple of weeks. I thought this was a better match than I expected. I thought this was pretty good. I gave this 3 stars to kick off things on the opener here. What did you think, Christy?
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars as well. I think Rich Swann looks good. He came back. He's in great physique. This is like the best I've ever seen him, like in shape, and he looks like he's moving as best as I ever seen him out there. So that was good. Say what you want about AJ Francis. He's starting to get better. He's kind of like leaning into that big man style and just shit heel, and it's working for him. So they got good chemistry. They've had chemistry since the first run of First Class when Rich Swann was still around, like in his first contract with TNA. So not surprised that they put on a solid match. I am surprised that they put on almost a low-key banger. So 3 stars is good, and we'll see where AJ Francis goes from here.
Yeah, I think AJ, I said this on the preview. I think AJ is one of the guys I would love to see get climb the ladder in TNA and get up to like the main event spot, because I feel like he could be a solid heel to go against Santana now that he's champion. What do you think?
I wouldn't put him in a feud with Santana now. I would let him have, if you can get him over with like one more good baby face in the company, like, I don't know. It's hard to think right now. Like, I don't want to go after a champion like Leon Slater or something like that. But if you can get him over like a really good baby with a really good baby face in TNA, then you can put him, against Santana after that.
Maybe someone in the system, Eddie Edwards or something.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe Eddie, but I don't know.
We go backstage. We get a recap of what happened on Thursday with the post-show angle that set up the main event, and then Gia Miller interviews the TNA World Champion Mike Santana, who's wearing red war paint. He's ready for tonight's Texas Death Match. He says that his daughter is also happy he got the world title back, and she'll be watching as he retains it here in Texas once again. I don't know. I understand that they're in Texas, but Texas Deathmatch is usually something that you build to. That it becomes like a war. Like you think of Texas Deathmatch in like the modern era, you think of Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland from Full Gear, where that was like a blood feud that needed that stipulation. You talk about John Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, even at like in All In Texas, they had an established rivalry. They've had a Texas Deathmatch before that, so it made sense to run it back again for the AEW World Championship. They literally built to Santana and Kazarian on the premiere as this mutual respect rivalry that was two guys that started in AEW that killed their passion for the business, and now they're on TNA and they're gonna fight to become the world champion. There is no bitter rivalry here to be a Texas death match. I feel like they are just forcing their performers to work a style of matchup that I don't think they eat. I think maybe Mike was more comfortable than Frankie, but we'll get into that when we talk about the matchup. But what do you think?
Well, once we talk about the matchup, this fucking made no sense to be a Texas death match. So we'll get into that when we get to the match. And then two, I mean, yeah, I see AEW set the bar high where with the Texas death match moniker, where like it actually means something. You could have called this a street fight, a fucking Texas street fight, a Dallas conundrum. I don't know, whatever the fuck you could have. You didn't have to make this a Texas death match. This could have been a last man standing, some bullshit like that. So, I agree. This was not warranted for a Texas death match.
No. We got Power Jerry Finisher says, what does TNA talent always wear the fucking Cowboys gear shit? They're big Cowboys fans.
Well, AJ Francis used to play for the Commanders when they were the Redskins. So that's why he wore the Commanders gear. The Commanders are in the same division as the Dallas Cowboys, which makes sense. They're in Dallas. Rich Swann's the baby face, try to get that little extra pop. So makes sense.
We got Davion who says, very weird to have a Texas death match without any build, but we know the company we watch it.
Not surprised. Yeah. I mean, we're not surprised that this was billed as some fucking death match.
No. Then we get a grudge match between Elijah and Ali. This one has been building for quite some time now between these two men. I think they've been feuding ever since Elijah made his comeback back at Final Resolution. Yeah, it was at Final Resolution where Elijah came back with the horse and basically dragged Ali's ass out of the arena. They also have had the whole segment where he chased the whole Order 4 group with the horse around the arena as well. So this was the payoff to all of that here, as it was Elijah who came out to, I think this is new theme music. I don't know if this was his theme music before. And of course, yeah, it was like walk with Elijah. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it didn't fit.
No, it didn't really fit him at all, but here we are. But yeah, Ali has Order 4 in his corner. The match got going in earnest with Ali getting caught with a pop-up powerbomb by Elijah early on, getting the control of the matchup. You had Elijah chopping and kicking away at Ali around ringside. Skyler and Hodge, the great hands, tried to jump Elijah again, but again, he easily disposed of them. He disposed of them before the matchup as well, but Ali hit Elijah with a big dive on the outside, which gave him a little bit of control in the matchup. Back in the ring, Ali went to work over the injured arm of Elijah. Ali locked in a overhand wrist lock, and Elijah escaped and ran the ropes, but Ali caught him with a rolling neck breaker. He then went for a standing moonsault, but Elijah got his feet up, and man, I thought Ali was going to break his neck with how he fell. I was like, holy shit, what are we doing?
But yeah,
it did 100%. I was like, I don't know if you should be doing that, but Okay. But yeah, the fight continued. The Great Hands once again tried to get involved in the matchup, with Agent Zero pulling the referee out of the ring after Elijah hit a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. On the floor, the referee tried to eject Agent Zero and the Great Hands. Meanwhile, you had Tasha Steele. She got into the ring with Elijah's guitar and she tried to use it on Elijah, but Elijah saw that coming. He caught her and he set her up for the Tombstone Power Driver, but Ali was able to stop this and save his Secretary of Defense. He hits Elijah right in the back with the guitar, hitting him in the lower back, and Ali was able to cover him and get the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here and get a measure of revenge for Elijah stalking him over the last couple of weeks. This was fine. I don't know about you, but I just always expect more from Mustafa Ali, but this was very much more of an Elijah match than a Mustafa Ali matchup. Mustafa Ali is a great heel to bump around and sell for the babyface, and he made Elijah look good, but this was kind of slower than I expect from a Mustafa Ali matchup, and not on the level of a lot of his other pay-per-view matchups that I've seen from him in TNA. So I gave this one 2 3/4 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I gave it 2 3/4 too. I didn't expect these guys to put on a banger, but it was a solid match. Elijah looked good in it, and Ali's gonna put on a banger no matter who he's in there with. It was a little slow, but the thing that took away from me was all the interference. I don't know. You could have done it without most of it. You could have saved most of it for them, but whatever. 2 3/4 stars. See what happens with Elijah. I have an interesting proposal for Elijah, but I'll get into that later.
Oh, okay. I'll try to remember that so I can ask you again. But yeah, I think Elijah's in the right spot though. I think TNA is the right spot for Elijah right now because he kind of fits what TNA. I mean, I don't want their identity to be WWE light, but he kind of fits in with the WWE light of it all, right?
Yeah, but it's like he's like a little bit of both, right? Because he could be that WWE light part of TNA, but he could also be that part, that like throwback part of TNA where it's just like they have all these outlandish characters and shit like that, and do performances and do a whole bunch of shit. So, he's good. I mean, he's a good guy to have. He's a good hand. He's a good worker. He's got great character work. So I think TNA is perfect for him right now.
Yeah. We'll see how that continues to work out with him. We got a couple of comments in the chat here. We got Josh, of course. He heard Elijah, and he's just he doesn't even hear Elijah. Whenever he hears Elijah's name, he hears Elias, and he's got to call him a bum. He says Ali had to carry a bum.
Not surprised.
We got Jordan who says, great to see Elijah in that group of alumni that gave Cena props before his final matchup. Elijah snuck in there. He wasn't supposed to be there.
There's no way he was invited by like Natty or anybody in that fucking. He was just there playing his guitar, just strummed his way into the front row, which is like, hey man, good shit.
Good shit. Yeah, we're legendary rivals. Everybody remembers our interaction at WrestleMania 34 and 35.
Jeez. I don't.
We got Power Driver finisher. Says got their new old Joe Hendry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he is the Joe Hendry replacement in a bit. Then we had one of the matches that I was looking forward to on the show, JDC's retirement match, the final dance, as he faces his system stablemate, Eddie Edwards. Both men come out at the same time to the system music. Early on, JDC rolled up Edwards as soon as his back was turned for a near fall. Love the fact that JDC is wearing Terry Funk inspired gear, which was, I was like, yeah. That makes sense. He's got the Dango Terry Funk shirts now, so that made sense for him. So if this retirement doesn't stick, we know why. This is the reason he wore Terry Funk tights. So
yeah, Terry Funk spirit.
This was very technical early on. JDC caught Edwards with a drop kick and then a near fall. JDC with a deep arm drag, then went into an arm bar. Edwards escaped that and caught JDC with a clothesline. Edwards backed JDC in the corner and hit some chops, but JDC came back with some chops of his own. He caught Edwards with a power slam and got a 2. He backed Edwards into the corner for some more chops. He went to the top rope, and then Edwards caught him with an enziguri and then took him down with the Hurricane Rana. JDC dropped to the floor and Edwards followed him, hits a big plancha. The crowd started chanting Dango, Dango, which Edwards encouraged. Edwards and JDC fought on the floor for a bit. JDC gave Edwards a back suplex onto the apron, which was kind of the first moment of this matchup that didn't feel like the friendly battle that they were going for, and it kind of turned up the intensity a bit. Edwards responded by sending JDC into the ring post. Edwards went for a chop while JDC was against the ring post, but JDC ducked it and Edwards found nothing but the pole. JDC tried to go after Edwards' arm a bit back in the ring. He hits a leg lariat and then more chops. Then Edwards caught JDC with the back elbow. JDC came back with an uppercut and then a big boot, then sent Edwards to the floor. JDC followed Edwards out over the top rope with a plancha that looked good. Back in the ring, JDC charged into Edwards with uppercuts. Edwards wound up hanging in the middle ropes, and then JDC sprung out and hits a guillotine leg drop. That looked fun. He gets a 2 count with that. JDC then hits a tornado DDT. He then transitions into a Falcon Arrow and gets a near fall. Edwards catches JDC with a Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall, and then Edwards went for a sleeper, shouted for JDC to tap out, and JDC smiled as a tribute, I guess, to John Cena, fought his way out of the sleeper, and then he ran into a back elbow, but caught Edwards coming off the ropes with a drop kick. He then turns the drop kick into a lion tamer. Shout outs to his WrestleMania 29 opponent, Chris Jericho. He gets that for a bit, and then Edwards escapes with a small package. JDC kicked out and then caught Edwards with a code breaker. Once again, shout out to Chris Jericho. He goes for a superplex, but Edwards fought out of it, and then JDC pulled him down with a air raid crash from the top rope. JDC went to the top for his guillotine leg drop, but he misses. Edwards hits the Boston Knee Party, but he only gets a 2 count. He then goes for it a second time, and he gets a 2 count once again. He starts talking to JDC. They have a little moment where they're talking to one another, like a goodbye of sorts. Edwards hits a super kick, then he hits the Die Hard driver, and then finally he hits a third Boston Knee Party as JDC hugs him on the pin for the 1-2-3. After the matchup, the other members of the system come down. We get a nice touching moment between Edwards and JDC. The rest of the system raise the hand of JDC, get him to his feet. We see members of the locker room coming on the stage to applaud Dango. JDC was left in the ring alone. He kisses the mat. He basically goes around and thanks the crowd. He soaks up all the cheers. He goes to ringside and he thanks the announcers, Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywald. This was a nice little moment to give him kind of like retirement send-off with the whole locker room. Well, at least the locker room of people that's already competed on the show. So it was a nice to see like all the love that JDC has from TNA, despite not being with the promotion that long. He has really kind of made himself one of the locker room leaders, it seems, by how the locker room was out there, to support him, and the crowd were very much in support of JDC here. I thought this was a nice little retirement matchup, a decent, solid bout between the two guys. I gave this 3.25 stars. What did you think, Chris?
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. Dango turned it back to the Johnny Curtis days, Florida days. He was showing out for his last match. It was cool to see. Him and Eddie, obviously good friends. They had a lot of good chemistry. And it was cool to see the locker room and just the fans kind of give him his flowers. We don't realize shit. Said WrestleMania 29. Well, we're gonna be on 42. No, yeah. Right? 42.
Yeah,
so
42
years ago, man. He was beating Chris Jericho at a WrestleMania. And, the trials and tribulations to get back to where he wanted to get through those 13 years. Just give it up to him, man. Well, the injuries too. Fucking poor guy had so many like knee injuries throughout the years. So, it's good to see him come back and go out on his terms. So, shout out to JDC. Hopefully they find a backstage position for him because I'm sure he's a smart guy when it comes to the mind of wrestling. So, get him back there and hopefully he contributes.
And he's a guy that made so much awful WWE comedy actually funny. Like, he's a guy that can help like a comedy wrestler on the come up. He's got a great sense of humor, great sense of timing. But I think he never really got the appreciation that he actually deserves. And it was nice to kind of see that here with the retirement.
WWE dropped the ball with Fashion Files so much.
Dude, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's my greatest memory of JDC is the Fashion Police. The Fashion Police were gold. They were the highlight of SmackDown in 2017.
Yeah, during some rough episodes of SmackDown too. But like you would watch the Fashion Files and be like, yo, these fucking guys are funny. And then you want to, him and Tyler Breeze can be like an actual solid tag team in the ring. They just never got the love that they deserve. So it sucks, but I'm glad that at least he's going on his terms.
Absolutely. We got wishing JDC well in retirement, says Davion. Jordan adds, he was a great worker, great leg drop off the top, had a lot of personality, liked his weird gimmick back in the day. Fandango was over. Yeah, I'll never forget that Raw after WrestleMania 29. I was at WrestleMania 29 and he was really popular for the people in the crowd. Like, I was one of the people that was cheering for him to beat Jericho as well. But it was nothing like the following night on the Raw after WrestleMania where Fandangoing went crazy and it was the vibe. Yo, the whole night during Randy Orton and Sheamus, during just random matches, then the ride, then all the videos of the ride home from Jersey of people.
Yep. They had something there.
They did. They just never capitalized on the Fandangoing, never capitalized on the Fashion Police. It's like, man, wish he would have like made the decision to leave that. I mean, it is a big contract, but leave that and go to like TNA earlier in his career. Maybe we would have seen him reach higher heights than he was able to achieve in WWE.
Yeah, that's true.
We get the TNA injury report. Elijah is being evaluated after the guitar shot. Steve Maclin's eyes are still scratched out, but he should be good for Impact Thursday.
I don't know what the fuck that was about.
The Hardys were evaluated. They're cleared, even though they are not 100%. You should probably be 100% before you're cleared, but this is an injury report, I guess. Then we get Ryan Nemeth going one-on-one with Mara Sade in an intergender matchup. Sade jumped on Nemeth's back for a sleeper, but Nemeth dumped her to the mat. Nemeth locked in a side headlock, but Sade was able to escape. Nemeth went for a hip toss, but Sade was able to reverse out of that, land on her feet. She was keeping Ryan Nemeth on his back foot throughout this matchup, using her speed and agility to get the better of her larger opponent. She hit like a head scissors, send him to the floor, and Nemeth came back. He shouted out Sade that you love me, and that was kind of gross. Back in the ring, Sade slapped Nemeth, so Nemeth yanked her down by the hair and said, "You made me do this," while holding his fist up, which is even grosser. Sade made her comeback and hit Nemeth with a forearm. She hits a tornado DDT out of the corner for a near fall. Nemeth went to the eyes and tried to use the ropes to get a pinfall, but the referee caught him. Sade came back and hits a big sling blade. She went to the top rope, but Nemeth drop kicked her in the gut. Sade crumbled to the mat, and Nemeth was able to take advantage. He wrapped her up, held on to the ropes right in front of the referee, and the referee just had to act like he didn't see it. He counts to 1, 2, 3. Right after Nemeth used the ropes and he caught him, he didn't think to check the ropes again when he goes for another cover. Nemeth gets the win. I don't think anyone comes out of this looking good. Nemeth looks like a domestic violence abuser Sade, she looked fine. She came out of this looking the best. The referee looks like a dumbass, a dud.
Oof.
I gave it 0 stars.
Oof. I gave this 1.5 stars solely for the fact that Mara was in it. That's it. That's it. Because chef's kiss. But this served no purpose because, I mean, you could have went different ways with this, right? You could have had like a little comedy match. You could have had Mara Sade go over, you know, and build like a little storyline or some shit like this. You could have had some stakes behind. Like this had nothing like going on to it. It was like a grudge match that nobody wanted to see. It was just weird. Poor use of Ryan Nemeth because Ryan Nemeth actually is a useful character, but you just got to use him the right way. Mara Sade, she should be doing something else. Just get away from this. Just forget this ever happened.
I feel like Mara Sade is trying to come across like a black Lita with the look, the aesthetics of it all. You know, she teamed up with the Hardys a couple of months back, and she's kind of kept that look with the thong out and stuff like that. But like, they just don't seem to want to put her, kind of get her entrenched in the Knockouts division. They have her doing this silly shit when I think she would be better suited working with one of the other ladies and kind of building her up as one of your new stars in the Knockouts division instead of just having an awful matchup with Ryan Nemeth.
No, you keep her on TV. She should be on TV, but let her wrestle with some knockouts. Let's see what she got and go from there. Just keep her out of this silly shit.
Yeah. The storyline, the program has basically been Ryan Nemeth talk shit, gets super kicked by Mara Sade. That's the joke. And he's like on some creepy some creepy shit. Like, you know you love me. He's on some kindergarten. Yeah, he's on some kindergarten shit where the girl beats you up. He thinks that means that she likes him.
Yeah, guy thinks he's fucking Saved by the Bell. What the Zach Morris? He thinks he's fucking Zach Morris.
You're not that, bro. No. Davia said, which dumbass and creative thought this was something to book on pay-per-view? I'm pretty sure it was Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer.
This has Tommy Dreamer's fingerprints all over it.
I could see the donut grease prints all over it.
Donut grease prints. And to answer Shirking the Goat, laugh my ass off. Isn't Nemeth the same dude who tried to sue AEW? Yes, he is.
Yeah. Didn't work out well for him. Now that's why he's on TNA. Got to pay those legal fees.
Pretty much, probably. Yeah, you're right. Then we go backstage to Stacks and Ariana Grace talking some trash about Santino, saying that Santino put him in the 4-way to get the title off of him, but he proved once again why he is the international champion and why they are the new power couple in NXT as well as TNA. I mean, I feel like this is the best use of Stacks since Tony D'Angelo family. I'll give him that.
He makes this fucking face where he looks like Sling Blade, and I can't take him serious.
He kind of looks like the actor who plays Bullseye on Daredevil.
In the new one?
Yeah, well, it's the old one as well.
Yeah.
All
right, yeah. Kind of, yeah.
A little bit. Then we get the Knockouts World Championship matchup. WWE NXT's own ZARIA is the challenger, and she's going up against Lei Ying Lee, who won the title back at Gold Rush in Madison Square Garden. You see the size difference between the two women early on, and the much bigger ZARIA sends Lee into the ropes with a body block. Lee came off the ropes with the crossbody, but ZARIA caught her and dumps her to the mat for a near fall. ZARIA dumped Lee into the turnbuckles, and then she stood on the middle rope and pulled Lee up by the neck, showing her power, choking Lee with her own body weight. Zarya hits a lariat for a near fall and then comes back with a Texas cloverleaf, which looked good. Lee fought her all her way up, but Zarya turned that into an inverted power bomb, then went back to the Texas cloverleaf. Lee escapes and then went for her own STF, but Zarya was able to power out of it. Zarya was basically beating the hell out of Lee early on in this matchup. Lee finally started to fight back with some strikes and kicks, eventually took Zarya down with the super kick. Lee punched Zarya in the corner while the crowd counted along. Lee went for a suplex, but Zarya elbowed her way out of it, and then Lee ducked a pump kick and hits an exploder suplex for a near fall. Lee jumped on Zarya's back for a sleeper, but then Zarya dropped to her knees, but soon powered back up. Zarya turned that into a cannonball in the corner, which looked like Lee freaking. I was hoping that she protected her head because she would have fallen right on her head, it looked like. Lee dodged a charge in the corner and went for a monkey flip. Zarya blocked it, and they both tumbled over the top rope to the apron. We then see Heather and M by Elegance come out on the entrance stage. Zarya then threw Lee back into the ring. Zarya hit Lee with a big spear. She goes for her F5 finisher, but for some reason, she starts spinning her around and like literally I was like, why does this company have the worst ref bumps? They all look very contrived and they all look dumb as hell. Like the one from the Santana and Kazarian matchup on the TNA AMC premiere, that looked horrible. And then this one looked even worse. It literally was like Zarya was in the center of the ring and had to go to almost the corner to hit the fucking referee for a ref bump. I was like, that was so dumb. That just took me out of this matchup. That was good up to that point. We get Lee's legs hitting the referee. Then Brookside and Ruka went to check on the referee. I don't know why this caused some conflict where Sol Ruka was obviously just trying to wake up the referee, but Zaya's like, "What are you doing in the ring? I'm gonna get in the ring too." Then we have the Elegance brand. They try to run down and get involved, but Ruka and Brookside fight them off and they brawl to the back. Finally, after all that nonsense, the match actually got under control. Zarya yanked the ref back up and she charged at Lee, but hit the ring post. Lee rolled her up for a 2 count. Zarya hits a big headbutt. Zarya then tried to choke Lee again, but Lee escaped and took Zarya down with a top rope Hurricane Rana. Lee and Zarya traded forearms, and then Zarya went for another F5, but Lee's able to reverse that into a big DDT. She then hits a big spinning heel kick, and then she follows things up with the Warrior's Way, which looked impressive because of the size of Zarya, even though I don't know if she can do that for a girl of Zarya's size all the time, but she pulled it off here. It's like a reverse Olympic slam, gets the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here. This one went almost 14 and a half minutes. Like I said, I thought it was a good matchup overall. I just hated the referee bump and how contrived and stupid it looked, but the two ladies worked hard in this one. They show respect to one another after the matchup, after Carlos Silva presents the title to Lee, and we get that show of sportsmanship. But then the music of Elena Black hits, and out comes the former Cora Jade on the entrance stage, and she declares herself the next challenger for Lee's title, even though she did the belt motion way too many times, and that looks stupid as hell as well. But like I said, good matchup. 3.5 stars up to this point. The best thing on the show. What did you think?
Agreed. I gave it 3.25 only because the ref bump kind of brought it down for me too.
Dude,
I hate the ref bump.
I would have gone 3 3/4. I would have went 3 3.75 stars if it wasn't for that stupid ass ref bump.
I see it so fucking much now, so it's just like it's starting to like really. It's almost like It's almost like the disqualification, like you know how we get a lot of DQ finishes on these TV shows, on these TV matches for like throughout WWE, sometimes in AEW, not as much, but now TNA is really starting to do them a lot too. So it's really starting to fucking piss me off. Like, let's just have a clean finish, a clean match between two competitors. It's not that hard. They easily showed out 3.5 stars, almost a 4-star match if you just let them rock for those 15 minutes by themselves. Their styles mesh really well. I'm happy for ZARIA. I feel like she doesn't get enough shine on NXT sometimes, so it was cool to see her show out on TNA. And then Lei Ying Lee always been my favorite, one of my favorites, and she was in WWE, so I'm glad she's finally putting it all together too. So happy for both ladies. Just do away with the bullshit. 3.25 stars.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you there. And this was probably like the most I've seen ZARIA wrestle. I think this and the Blake Monroe matchup when she replaced Soruka at Halloween Havoc. Those are like the two longest matches. And she's been in NXT for nearly 2 years now. Just let her wrestle. Why does she always have to be in tag team matches? You let Soruka have singles matches. You'd never let ZARIA have a singles match. This was nice to see her in a singles capacity for once.
Yeah, I feel like this is like the third singles match I've seen her in because she's always in fucking tag teams. So, I mean, they're slowly building towards that, but this was I think this was a good test for her, and it showed that she can handle her own in a one-on-one competition. So hopefully they take note in the NXT and they do something with her.
Yeah, I hope so. Because she's got a lot of talent, and she came in with Stephanie Vicaire and Julia, and they were talking about how they were 3 big main signings. You remember they did the vignettes with her walking in the ruined, like the entrance video that she has, and all of that. They gave her the big build up, had her debut at Halloween Havoc 2024, and then she's just been in a tag team for
team. Be best friends with Soul. Here you go.
Stupid. It's just not anything like the vignette. It's basically they turned her into the modern day Ember Moon. Remember, Ember Moon was presented as this dark character, mysterious, and then she's cutting these emotional promos about I can't beat Asuka.
Yeah, I've lost myself. You lost yourself when you was chilling in the woods at 7 years old. Ain't that your character? Shit.
So silly. We get Nic Nemeth backstage. He cuts a promo talking about the refereeing tonight's matchup and teasing that he's going to cash in his Call Your Shot gauntlet. But then that leads into the Hardys going up against the Righteous for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And by far, the Hardys got the biggest pop of the night. Like, this was probably the loudest the crowd was the entire show. Hardys come out, they yank Vincent out of the ring, and soon both teams were brawling. Still, as the Hardys music was going on, I thought they were going to play this for the entire matchup. It probably would have made it better.
That would have been cool.
Matt sends Dutch into the ring post, and Jeff came off the apron with a big crossbody. Vincent and Jeff got into the ring, and finally the match started, but the music stopped. I was like, oh, boo. Boo, tomato. The crowd, like I said, was about 10 times louder for the Hardys than anything else on this show so far. Vincent seemed to taunt Jeff, talking about his ear from basically putting the lock through his ear on Impact. And enraged Jeff took him down with a double leg and then mauled at him with fists. Then we get Matt tagging in. He went after Vincent's ear and then bit his hand. Matt snapped Vince's neck across the ropes, and then Jeff came off with a leg drop to follow up. Vincent continued to take a righteous beating from the Hardys. The Hardys hit poetry and motion on Vincent, and then Matt smacked him around on the mat. Matt stopped to taunt Dutch, giving Vincent a brief reprieve. Then we get Matt hitting a side effect for a near fall. Finally, Dutch leveled Matt with a clothesline from the apron, which allowed for the Righteous to finally get control of the matchup. Vincent backed Matt into the corner, and then Dutch got the tag and kept doing weird things with his tongue in between laying shots in on Matt. Then we get Dutch dumped Matt, and Vincent hit a flatliner for 2. Dutch hit Matt with a short arm clothesline and then choked him against the ropes. Vincent then taunted Matt while Dutch choked him. Dutch went for a fireman's carry, but went and got a twist of fate, and then Matt countered that into a twist of fate of his own. Tags were made on both sides as the crowd popped huge for Jeff coming in. Jeff drove Dutch and Vincent down. Then Jeff bent Vincent awkwardly, and I couldn't tell what he was trying to do, but Vincent was choking and clawing at Jeff's gauge and made his comeback. But Jeff and Matt were able to hit Vincent with the plot twist and got a near fall. Matt went for a twist of fate, but Vincent blocked it. Dutch tripped up Matt, and when he hit to run the ropes, and Matt went at him with forearms, but he hits the boss man black hole slam. Dutch then towed Vincent to go to the top rope. Dutch hits the twist of fate on Matt, and then Vincent follows up with the swanton, but Jeff was able to pull Vincent out of the ring because very contrively Vincent had to go for the cover with his feet towards the rope so Jeff could pull it. I was just like, why is everything in this company so fucking contrived? I could see it coming from like miles away. And we'll talk about that with the main event as well. Back in the ring, Vincent and Matt clothesline each other. Dutch saw Jeff on the floor and came off the apron for a senton, but Jeff was able to move, so you heard Dutch with a sick thud on the outside. Back in the ring, Matt got the advantage on Vincent. Vincent pushed away from a twist of fate while Vincent begged off in the ring very awkwardly. We get like an awkward pause because I guess Dutch didn't get his cue and it took him a while to get to the mic. He grabs the mic and he says that this is exactly what the Righteous wanted, to hurt. So Matt obliged. He hits a twist of fate on Vincent. Jeff comes off the top with the swanton. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. That's the win. That was a fucking weird finish. This match went 12 and a half minutes. The Hardys get the win. Post-match, the Righteous, you get Dutch stopped Carlos Silva from taking the belts to the Hardys, and he presents it to them himself. Dutch then held his back, and Vincent held his ribs as they slowly walked away as they got what they wanted. They wanted the Hardys to beat them and beat them up. And commentary teased that this is not over between the two teams. It should be. This was going fine until that weird ass finish, but I'll still give it like 3. No, I can't. 2 3/4 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 2 3/4 stars too. It was just the problem I have with this is I like the Righteous. Like I really fuck with like the cult gimmick stuff, right? Like, and they have like they're two guys that could pull it off really well, right? I feel like everywhere they go though, they just lose. And
yes,
you brought them into TNA, and their first feud is with the champions, and then they fucking lose. So it's hard to take this fucking creepy faction or tag team or whatever you want to call them serious, even though they have the potential to be something cool. Now here's my proposal. Okay. I think even though he is a babyface, I think you put Elijah with the Righteous, and you have them
they were teasing that before these guys signed.
Yes, but when it was a fucking 40-second video and it fit so well together. Like, you just imagine Elijah strumming his guitar, fucking Dutch doing his little thing, or Vincent doing his little snaps, Dutch his little fucking tongue little thing in the back, his little tongue movements. Like, it's just it'll make for a cool like cult vibe where you could, and TNA is a perfect place to do it. You see where it goes from there. I think they need. I don't think they need to keep feuding with the Hardys, but they need something. They need something, because I'm running out of patience with the Righteous.
No, I feel you. I 100% feel you, because it's like, dude, this was their first match. Like, it wasn't even like I could say this is their first big match in TNA. No, this was literally their first match, and you just had them lose, and not even lose like, oh, they took them to the limit and they just came up short. No, they lost because they wanted to lose. Tell me how is that supposed to make sense?
Just as lost as everybody else.
Oh man, when when is TNA gonna learn? Like, this is not how you introduce new guys into the company. Like, this was very much of like kind of a WWE trope where WWE loves to have the person lose their first title match. Like they just did it with Braun Breaker because they earn it. It has to feel earned before they actually win the titles. But it's much more effective to have someone in their first matchup win the titles, and then you could continue whatever story you want to come across as.
Or just have them come in and just get a win over an established tag team. And then go from there. And then you could have them feud and lose for the titles. Like, it doesn't feel as bad because it's like, all right, not even around for a month or two. Like, you know, they beat somebody, they earned this title shot, and they lost. All right, cool. It's not going to hurt them as much. Bring them in, make them look like fucking dweebs in the end of their first match, and then have them lose.
Doesn't make any sense to me. We got Short King the Goat who says, do y'all believe the Righteous were undervalued in AEW/ROH, or you think they were used how they should have been? I mean, I think that overall Tony Khan undervalues ROH. So, like, yeah, you can make the argument that the Righteous were undervalued while they were in AEW ROH, but that's really just a genuine thing of ROH. She could have done more with them. They had that whole partnership with Lance Archer that could have done something and been a part of the trios division at least. They could have been tag team champions in ROH when they were feuding with the Sons of Texas at the end of 2024, and they had a good program with them. But they had some notable programs with the Sons of Texas. They had their whole run where they challenged for the ROH tag team titles when MJF and Adam Cole had the titles as well. But it was just bad timing and probably them not fitting, because it doesn't seem like Tony Khan likes the over-the-top, creepy, spooky gimmicks like that. Like House of Black was another instance where it doesn't seem like he gets those type of gimmicks. So I would say they were probably, it's somewhere in the middle. I don't think they were undervalued. I think just in general, ROH was undervalued, but I think they were also used how they should have been used. What do you think?
I mean, it goes back with the whole ROH being undervalued thing. So as long as they're under that umbrella, then they're going to feel undervalued. But I mean, like I said, I feel like they lose a lot, and they were losing a lot in AEW/Ring of Honor. And, you know, as much as I want to like the gimmick, you need a fucking couple wins under your belt, you know?
We got Pirate Finisher. He says, I generally feel they could have done more, even with what I thought was a bad direction with the MJF thing. But there was so much potential, and I would rather see him in AEW ROH than TNA. No, I think honestly they could work in TNA. They just have to get an actual push behind them.
Yeah, and they need the right story and the right writing. You can't just have them out there being senseless like they were yesterday.
We got Christopher Kidd, I think, in the chat, or M Kid, who says last night shows that bullying and public shame works. Kudos to TNA for the production improvements and great wrestling. I don't know about the great wrestling. What was I want to know from you, M Kid? What was the great match on this show? Because I'll be honest with you. We only got 2 more matches to talk about. I don't think either one was great. I think there was good wrestling on the show. But we gotta understand the difference between great and good.
Yep. This was not great.
I don't think there was anything on this show that I would consider great wrestling. Just me. I don't know. But you are right. They did improve on the production a bit, and it wasn't just freaking like 7 non-wrestling segments on the show. It was actually wrestling on the show.
Yeah, and it wasn't no random cutoffs to like fucking random backstage audio and shit like we usually get on a TNA production sometimes. So kudos.
We got DJ D Jefferson, who says maybe this is long-term storytelling, which means maybe we get Elijah with the Righteous and Cross is coming. Ooh. Now that is a stable I can get behind. Elijah, Righteous, and because I was like, I don't know if this would be enough to make like Elijah a main eventer, but Cross with this group, that's the main eventer for the group. Yeah.
And throwing my girl Scarlett in there. Yeah, of course. I don't know how. Hopefully, I don't remember how Cross left TNA. It was a different regime, so maybe there's no burnt bridges there, and he's welcome back. So I would love to see Cross come back.
Yeah, he had a little bad fallout, but that was mostly with Don Callis when Don Callis was in charge, and he had his issue. I think something weird went on with him and Scarlett and stuff like that, and that's why Cross left. But this is a whole new regime, man, and it seems obvious to everybody, and I think that's why Tony Khan hasn't give Cross a look. That Cross wants to be back in WWE, and TNA feels like the best route for him to do that.
I'm still holding out hope he's a surprise entrance in the Rumble. But once that Rumble's done and he's not back, he should just start getting his shit together, and TNA would be a good spot for him.
Yeah. We got Jordan who says, I love them. They're my new favorite on TNA. WWE makes new guys lose. Even Austin lost to Brett in their first matches. Yeah, this is something that they've done for years. Definitely years. We got Parajai Finisher. He says, I think he did drop the ball with the MJF thing, but them being on ROH could have benefited. But even as a whole, ROH is undervalued. It's ridiculously undervalued. Hopefully, like we talked about yesterday on the flagship podcast, that ROH is doing like these partner shows with Metroplex Wrestling and Maple Leaf Pro, which maybe is them leading into kind of the independent vibes of ROH of the past, which might be the best thing for them. And the recent, acquisitions of Alec Price and Jordan Oliver can fit into that, and they can be a part of ROH. Someone like a Zeta Steel, who just got officially All Elite yesterday after her match on Collision. She's another one that could probably be on the ROH kind of expansion that they're doing. Hopefully that's a new direction that they're going to go with ROH, but I'm not holding my breath
until I see some type of TV deal or anything. I'm not taking TK taking ROH serious.
Yeah. Jordan says TNA leans into entertainment more than AEW, though AEW can do it when they want to. And Parajai Finisher says, I get they deliver entertainment, but for me, TNA isn't entertaining on a weekly basis.
I mean, they've had a recent stretch of like, I wouldn't say boring television, but not up to the standard of like, say like 2023, maybe 2022. Like TNA was putting out like bangers of episodes, like one after another. They're not to that consistency anymore, but with this AMC deal, maybe there's some trials and errors that they got to work through. It's honestly since Scott D'Amore left, that it's kind of been like this. So hopefully they can just kind of recapture that magic.
Yeah, I think they're still trying to recover from the loss of Scott D'Amore. That was the worst thing, the worst timing too. Right after he was the one that pushed for them to become TNA again, and then got fucking clipped from the whole company. Just stupid. This is TNA though. This is TNA. This is the product that we're watching, folks. So just get used to it.
For real.
Let's talk about Leon Slater, who the X Division champion was not able to be on the show due to visa issues going on in TNA. We get to hear from Leon Slater after the show clips of his appearance on Friday Night SmackDown. Leon apologizes for not being able to be a part of the show, but he also thanks Joe Hendry for subbing in for him in the next matchup that we're going to talk about. Do you think I know you said earlier you're going to give them grace, but I can't, because this is something that you need to foresee. You should be planning for your pay-per-view weeks, months in advance, and you should make sure that there's no visa issues for probably the most important week in your company's history.
Yeah, 100%. They dropped whoever was in administration dropped the ball on that one. When it comes to Leon Slater, probably could have made it. He was like, "Oh, I got a chance to be on SmackDown, bro. Fucking stay in my ass home."
like I forget who it was who said like this Leon Slater being on that show on SmackDown was great for everyone but TNA. Like that is the truth of the matter. Like everyone but TNA won with the fact that Leon Slater was on SmackDown this week.
Shame.
But it's TNA. What can you do? Or is anyone surprised that TNA is in this position? Not really. But we do get to mention that we get some cool LED. I want to mention they had like LED entrance ramp and an LED on the screen. So that's what Kid was talking about earlier, as far as like Myron Kid talking about the production changes. It did look a little bit like, okay, we're spending some money now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that regular soundstage shit. They kind of made it a little bit more extravagant.
Yeah, that helped with the look of the show for sure. Then we get the aforementioned triple threat matchup. This was originally supposed to be for the X Division Championship, but because Leon Slater couldn't make the show, this was a non-title triple threat match. Moose with Alicia Edwards going up against Cedric Alexander and WWE's own Joe Hendry. We get a fight going on immediately. Hendry hits Moose with a drop kick and then dumps Alexander to the mat with a fallaway slam. Moose is then able to hit a big power bomb on the apron, but Hendry comes back and he powerbombs Moose as well on the apron. Then we get one of the most gnarly spots of the entire matchup. These two men fight a bit on the outside. The steel steps, the top of the steel steps is removed, and then Moose runs at Joe Hendry and he back body drops him onto the steel steps. Oh, not as bad as Darby Allin's step spot from Wednesday, but that had to suck too. The trainer and Carlos Silver came down to check on Moose. We even get the X sign by the referee. Ooh, he's really hurt. I was like, no, it's not, because the camera keeps going over to him.
Yep.
Henry and Alexander continue the matchup in the ring. Alexander dropped Hendry with a German suplex and a drop kick to the back of the neck. Hendry came back with an Olympic slam for a 2 count. Hendry then ran into a big boot from Alexander, but he caught Alexander and tried his fall-away slam, but Alexander countered it into a small package. Alexander caught Hendry and hits a Michinoku driver for 2. Hendry and Alexander kept looking back at Moose, who was still on the floor selling. Then we get both guys in the ring were down after a double clothesline. The crowd started chanting for Moose, who finally was able to make it to his feet, and he comes back in and he became kind of the underdog babyface of this matchup. Hendry and Alexander went after Moose, but Moose is able to hit a Hendry with a big Uranagi and then a senton, and then he kips up, selling the back. Moose is great here. Moose then gets Alexander. He catches him with a drop kick after bending him back. Hendry went for a suplex, but Moose blocked it, and he chops Hendry. Then we get Moose sets Hendry up and delivers a superplex off the top rope. Moose rolled through, but Hendry suplexes Moose as a reversal. And then Alexander comes out of nowhere and hits a big frog splash on Hendry for a near fall. Alexander ducked a charge from Moose in the corner. Alexander then hits an enziguri, but Moose grabbed Alexander and drove him down with a sit-out choke bomb. Then we get Moose and Hendry exchange chops. Moose charges at Hendry, but gets hit with a pop-up power bomb. Then it was Hendry's turn to hit the kip-up. He turned right into a Death Valley driver from Alexander. Alexander went for a crossface, but Moose was able to keep Hendry from tapping out and then broke up the hold by punching Alexander. Moose dumped Hendry and exchanged blows with Alexander. Alexander countered a Uranagi into a cradle. Alexander then went for a sunset flip, which was turned into a Styles Clash. Alexander got the near fall on that. I was like, everybody's hitting the Styles Clash on this night. Alexander charged into a boot from Moose, who turned him inside out with a clothesline. He then caught Alexander in midair with the no jackhammer needed spear, but he only gets a near fall. Moose tried to go for another spear, but his back gave out. Alexander gave Moose the lumbar check, taking him out of the matchup. And then we got another finish they do in every multi-man matchup where Hendry took advantage of Moose being out, and he hits his finisher on Alexander, the standing ovation. 1, 2, 3. Hendry gets the win, and he beats the 2 TNA guys. I was like, never change TNA. Never change. Don't put over the 2 guys that are going to be potentially challenging for the X Division Championship. Just have them beaten by the WWE guy who used to be your guy. Oh, man. This was fun. This was a fun matchup. Probably the best thing on the show overall that I don't have any real nitpicks. I thought the story with Moose being injured and him coming back and being the underdog despite being the biggest man in the matchup was a fun dynamic. It got over 15 minutes as well. This was a lot better than I originally thought it would be. I gave this one 3 3/4 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, I gave it 3.5. I really enjoyed the match. I don't typically like when they do like the in match injury angle, like during a triple threat or a match where like the guy's out for a serious time, right? Because usually the guy just comes back at the end, does like the little babyface comeback and wins the match, right? So I'm happy that they brought Moose back and they still put on a match for 11 minutes and had him, go out and put on a nice banger with these 2 guys. So the match was it was fun. It was fun. Joe Hendry win. I'm not surprised. Like, I didn't think he was gonna win, but I'm not surprised that he did win. Because he's a WWE superstar. TNA doesn't care about their own, I guess. I don't know.
TNA don't give a fuck. Like, have them lose. Who cares? Who cares? We got a WWE guy, guys. We're doing great.
Give him the old rub. Fuck out of here.
He was like, you guys got to compete with a WWE guy. Don't you feel like you've gotten your boost here, huh?
Don't you have a sense of accomplishment? You shared the ring with Joe Hendry, WWE superstar.
We got great King Greg who says Joe Hendry in TNA 85 overall. Joe Hendry as a WWE superstar in TNA 92 overall.
It's like when they're separated by years. It's like 2023 Joe Hendry's at 85 and then 2026 Joe Hendry's 92.
Like, look at the upgrade. He got the upgrade and everything. We got a bunch of comments here from Jordan. Thank you so much. Saying great words. SP3. He says Moose is a star. Look at that dude. He says Hendry is deceptively strong, and he says Cedric Alexander is exceptional. I feel like Cedric and Ali are just one step below Ospreay. Ali is very good. I can see that with Ali. I think Ali has earned maybe 2 steps below Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm just saying.
That's a mighty high bar to set, bro.
Yeah, but like Alexander, I need more matches like this. This was a good step, and like he had a great match with Ali back at Slammiversary, and then had a great match with Leon Slater. And I think that if Leon Slater was in this matchup, this would be bona fide. Like we could say great wrestling was on this show. There was one great match if Leon Slater was in this match instead of Joe Hendry, but it was still very good. That's why I said I think it was better than I expected.
Yeah, no shade to Joe Hendry because I love Joe Hendry, but Leon Slater brings a difference. He brings that X Division style, right? So with Cedric and Moose, it just would have went wild.
Yeah. Davion saying TNA said we got to put one of our guys over WWE. Said, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
He said, did you forget? Did you forget about our agreement?
Did you forget? This is what we do. This is what we do. We go into TNA and we win. Look at Trick Williams. Look at JC Jane. Joe Hendry's winning.
They were like, all right, you could give us Joe Hendry, but he's going to have to take the Elder Books. So they were like, well, he's not fucking going anymore. He has visa issues. All right. We changed our mind.
Like, never mind. Yo. We'll have a win. We'll just say former TNA world champion.
Look at that. The issue's cleared up.
Oh, look at that. What a coincidence. I never thought this would happen. Yes, we get Santino Marella. He comes out on stage and he brings out his expert panel for the pre-show to predict the main event. Everybody just picks Mike Santana. Way to give away the finish. But then Daria Rae shows up before Tommy Dreamer can make his prediction. Daria demanded they speed this up and cut to the video package for the main event. Thank you, Daria.
Appreciate it. She called him Timmy too. That was funny, little Timmy. Timmy
He was like,
Dreamer.
that's your boss. Nicely done.
No respect.
No respect at all. Then we have the main event, which is Mike Santana versus Frankie Kazarian for the TNA World Championship with Nic Nemeth as the special guest referee in a Texas death match. The rules are said before the matchup, no disqualification. After a pinfall or submission, the referee will initiate a 10 count. The down opponent has a 10 count to make it back to their feet. And if the wrestler fails to make it to their feet, his opponent is declared the winner. Of course, Santana got a good reaction from this crowd in Texas. Compliments to them for the very old school way they do the Texas Death Match. I'll give them credit for that. They just didn't build this rivalry to be worthy of a Texas Death Match. Santana went all over the arena during his entrance to fire up the crowd. He didn't get as big a response as the Hardys, though. Kazarian immediately dropped to the floor when the bell rang, and when he slid back in, he ate a big kick from Santana. Santana caught him with a super kick, and then he got hung up in the ropes, going for a big boot. Then Santana and Kazarian fought on the apron, and eventually Kazarian tripped Santana and hit his head on the apron. Kazarian pulled a chair out from under the ring as the crowd started chanting for tables. Kazarian avoided getting sent into the ring steps by Santana. Santana hits a big flying lariat off the ring steps and then pulled a table out from underneath the ring just to please the crowd. Santana then leveled Kazarian with a boot and then pulled a chair out from under the ring. Santana used the chair as a springboard to hit Kazarian with a cannonball and then set both men into the barricade and then over the barricade into the crowd. Santana beat up Kazarian through the crowd. Eventually, Kazarian battled back and sent Santana headfirst into a trash can. More chops and brawling around the arena floor. Santana climbed up into the first row of seats off the floor, but Kazarian fought him up there and then threatened to superplex to the floor, but Santana fought out of it and hits a crossbody out of the stands. They fought out of the arena and then near a garage door. Kazarian then whipped Santana into the door and then fell on the only aluminum trash can in the place and hit Santana in the back with it. The crowd chanted for more tables while Santana and Kazarian fought back to the ring. Kazarian then suplexed Santana on the floor. He set up a chair and then grabbed another one to use as a weapon. Santana grabbed the first chair, but Kazarian still managed to beat Santana down with it. Kazarian then set up both chairs and tried to give Santana a fade to black through the chairs. Literally, this whole time, this whole series of events that I'm documenting, I counted at least 4 different times, Chris, where Kazarian is basically fidgeting with his wrist tape, making it so obvious that there's a blade in his wrist tape that I knew there was going to be some spot where he hits his head, he goes under the ring, and he blades himself. It was so fucking obvious. This is why you shouldn't put people that aren't prepared to have this type of matchup in this matchup, because, oh my God, he was so worried about this blade falling out of his wrist tape. He does his wrist tape 4 fucking times. Eventually, Santana fought out of the fade to black. He hits a power driver on the chairs. He hit it perfectly, where you could tell Kazarian did not hit his head at all on either one of the chairs. But he gets him down. He then covers him, and he gets the pinfall for the 1, 2, 3 on the floor. Kazarian puts his head under the ring. He blades himself, but eventually he gets up before the count of 10. Of course, he got up. He came up bleeding ever so slightly from the forehead, and within, I think, about 2 minutes, the blood was gone.
gone, dissipated completely.
Dissipated completely because he did not know how to blade himself. He did not blade himself very well, and it seemed like he didn't want to blade himself. Santana pulled up a second table and placed it near the other table that he didn't use before. He set it up on the floor. Santana drug Kazarian up the apron, and then Kazarian fought out of a power driver attempt. He ran into a boot, but then Santana then drove him right. Kazarian drove the Santana right into the tables with a cutter. Kazarian was able to get his first pinfall, but Santana, of course, was able to get to his feet on the before the count of 10. Kazarian hits a running knee that sends Santana into the steel steps. Then he tumbled back into the ring and set up a table that he slid in the ring earlier. Then Kazarian dropped to the floor and found a massive ladder as well, and he set that up. Santana was the one who set up the ladder near the ropes, though. While Kazarian was taunting the crowd, Santana emerged from behind him after the whole big table spot, and he has a big barbed wire bat. He uses it against Kazarian. He drives the bat into Kazarian's skin, but of course there's no blood whatsoever. Kazarian was checking his head so many fucking times. He's like, where's the blood go? Where did the blood go? But Kazarian able to dodge one of the barbed wire attempts. He gets a chicken wing, but Santana is able to break out of it. He rakes the bat across his face again. Santana then hits the outlined in chalk. Then Santana sets Kazarian up on the table. He climbs up the ladder and he hits a massive frog splash through the table. But with everything that's won one pinfall so far, the power driver through the chairs and then the cutter through the tables, how did this only get a 2 count? I was so confused. I was like, what? And Nic Nemeth's hand hit the mat for a 3 count too, because he thought that would be a finish as well, but no. The crowd started chanting, "Ref, you suck." And then Santana argued with Nemeth. Then there was no count. Santana and Kazarian clotheslined each other, but neither went down. Kazarian then spat in Santana's face. Santana got pissed off. He grabs some barbed wire in the corner. He wraps it around his arm, and he hits spin the block on Kazarian, knocking him out, getting a third fall of the matchup. Kazarian tried to pull himself up before the count of 10. He nearly gets to his feet at the count of 9, but he slips back down. He fails to get up, and that is the victory. Mike Santana retains the TNA World Championship in this Texas Death Match. It went just over 19 minutes. I thought they used the stipulation well for what it was, but it just felt like so underwhelming in comparison to what Texas death matches were in the 80s, what they are in the modern era. This felt a little above it. Like you said earlier, if this was just a street fight or no DQ matchup, I think this was a good no DQ or no DQ, a very good, maybe even a very good no DQ matchup. As a Texas death match, it's just good. I give it 3.25 stars. Carlos Silver comes in. He hands Santana the TNA World Title. Nemeth then raises Santana's hand, but then out of nowhere, he hits him with the Danger Zone. He then grabs his Call Your Shot gauntlet. It looks like he's about to call his shot. He grabbed the trophy and he put it on the commentary table. The ref started to come down, but back in the ring, Mike Santana, who just went through a 20-minute Texas death match, just pops up, no selling Nemeth's finisher, and then hits him with the spin the block, and Mike Santana is down, and the referee doesn't even get into the ring for him to call his shot. So the stupid cash-in thing is still in effect as Santana stands tall to end this show. Like I said, I enjoyed the matchup for what it was, 3.25 stars, but the post-match, it was predictable, but it's still a little underwhelming as well. But Mike Santana is still the champion. That's a good thing. He's the guy that TNA should be building this company around for now. He's the face of the company for sure. What did you think?
Yeah, I gave it 3.25 stars. I absolutely hate the fact that you have to pin somebody for 3 seconds before somebody has to spend another 10 seconds on the floor. Like, it's a fucking that's a last man standing match with pinfall it and submit. Like, what the fuck are we doing, TNA? I'm sorry. This was fucking dumb, right? That's one. Two, you had a death match with minimal blood. Minimal, right? You didn't even have the babyface bleed. You should have had the babyface bleed if you were gonna have a fucking death match. Like, just poor presentation of what it should have. It should have just been a street fight. It would have been way better. It would have tempered expectations a little lower. It would have not oversold this rivalry because that's what they're trying to do with it. So, other than that, I thought the match was fine. 3 1/4. And the failed cash in, I mean, that's cool too. I mean, I don't mind a failed cash in, especially if it's Santana still walking out champion, which I'm here for. So, and then you still got a little drama with Nic Nemeth down the road. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, it seems like this would be like, I know they have a couple of specials in February. I think they got No Surrender, and then in March they got Sacrifice. So do you think that they're going to pull the trigger on Nemeth versus Santana on one of those shows? But usually with TNA, they save these kind of bigger matches like this is one of the bigger matches that Santana can probably have during his reign. They usually would save this to like Rebellion in April, their next actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, I was going to say Rebellion's probably the next like actual pay-per-view. So I could see Nemeth maybe cashing in and then them having the rematch at Rebellion. Or I could just see Nemeth cashing in at Rebellion after some type of fuckery. You never know who Santana is going to be feuding with, and maybe some shit happens after a match and Nemeth cashes in. So I think Rebellion will see something materialize with the Gauntlet Trophy.
I can see that too. We got Jordan who says Ziggler looking like HBK smuggling bananas back when he refed Triple H versus Rock on an early SmackDown, the first ever SmackDown. Yes, he was definitely. I was like Nemeth is still trying to be HBK light, even at his age.
Oh, wait until he goes bald and starts running TNA, and he's really gonna be fucking HBK light.
He's going to run TNA's developmental brand. That's what it's going to be.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got here in the match, we got Jordan who said night spot with the frog splash. We got Josh who says Silva looks like such a nerd. It's because he has a custom made hat that's got the wrong TNA logo on it. He looks like a doofus.
What if this guy thinks he's fucking Dana White? Stop giving people the belt. Get the fuck out of there. Stay ringside and shake their hand like Nick Khan. Nick Khan does it right. Doesn't get involved. He just shakes his hand after a title match, says good job, and the show keeps going.
Like, they don't need Carlos Silva on this show. Like, I know he wants to be on camera, but you already have 2 authority figures. What do you need you for?
You're literally just the guy that holds the belt and gives it to people. You just want to put shit around people's waist, you fucking creep. Stop. Stop. Just fucking sit down and let the champs handle it.
Jordan says Santana is a cool champ. I agree with that. And yeah, we got also, he says that's a fair assessment on Texas death matches in the modern era. Yeah, it kind of is like giving it an extra step, like you said, with the pinfall and submission. That's how they used to do it in like the 80s, but it's 2026, guys. Let's get with the modern era.
I had no idea. All right, so if they keep it, all right, so then I understand a little homage to the old school. So that doesn't piss me off as much. But yeah, modern day death matches, let's just stick to the 10 count.
Absolutely. Final call for super chat donations, guys. We always appreciate that kind of support. If you can, we would appreciate it. But we're going to wind things down here. So also in the chat, also in the comment section, let us know what you thought overall of TNA Genesis. What was your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP, your moment of the night? What did you give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a thumbs in the middle? And out of 10, what did you give the show? For me and Chris G, for TNA Genesis 2026, in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs in the middle from both of us.
Yep.
I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10.
Give it a. I'll be generous and give it a 7 because I feel like they had some like the Lee and ZARIA match, the triple threat, the main event, like those were all good, solid. The JDC send off, like there were some solid things on this show, but it wasn't like a great show. There wasn't a great match on it. There wasn't any holy shit moments or anything like that. So it's just a mid show. I think 6.5, 7 is fair. In terms of the importance of this show, you can argue that this is a thumbs down though, because they should have really showed out or presented something greater than the AMC debut.
Yeah, I would like the fact that all the team, like I understand you probably wanted to do the Danny Luna title change with the Lei Ying Lee knockouts matchup, and you probably were going to do a title change to get the X Division title off of Leon so he can do what he needs to do in WWE. But because you didn't have that, you then needed to probably have the Righteous beat the Hardys. That's the one that I'm like, that's the glaring one that's like, that should have been a title change. So there is something noteworthy to come out of this show. There's nothing noteworthy to come out of this show. So I can't, like, I'm being generous by giving it a 6.5. I will tell y'all right now, let me, I was going to refresh, but it might affect my internet. But at my last viewing, I have in another tab on Cage Match. This show is at a 3.63, which I don't think is that bad. I just think that people are so fed up with TNA that they are rating this show very, very low. I don't think it's that bad. I think if I'm being like honest, this show is like a 5.5, 6 out of 10. But because we're being generous, I'll go 6.5 out of 10 because there, like you said, there was solid matches on the show, but like to have nothing noteworthy on this show, nothing that you're going to remember in like a month from now, it does soften the blow. And maybe in retrospect, I would rate this lower.
Yeah. Not the best showing by TNA. They got a lot of work to do, but hopefully they live and learn from these last couple of days and start putting out a little something better for these next couple coming weeks.
Yeah. What was your match of the night?
The triple threat: Moose, Cedric Alexander, Joe Hendry.
I agree. I'm going to go with Moose, Cedric Alexander, and Joe Hendry. Shouts out to Lei Ying Lee versus ZARIA as well. That was probably the second best matchup on the night. Who was your MVP for the show?
Let's say JDC. Went out on his sword, went out how he wanted to, got the send off, got the love and appreciation from the locker room and the fans. So that was a nice high moment for the even though it's a sad, things happening, it's a good high moment on the show.
Yeah, I'll give it to JDC, Mike Santana for retaining, and Lei Ying Lee for retaining. Those the two champs that retained, and JDC for his final send off. Then we'll go with moment of the night next. What was your moment of the night?
This is hard because there wasn't like any glaring moments on the show, right?
I'm gonna say the Moose backdrop on the steel steps.
Yeah, creating that drama for that whole match. That's a good way to go. Matt Hardy biting Vincent was pretty fun, so I would just pick that one.
LVP for the show. Who you going with?
Or Ryan Nemeth, man. That whole fucking debacle. He looks the worst coming out of it. Well, actually, the ref looks the worst coming out of it, so I'm gonna give it to the ref.
Yeah, I was gonna say everybody in them except for Mara Sade, but yeah, I'll go with Brian Nemeth. He won the matchup, but it was an awful match. Like, I think that's the first dud I've given for a pay-per-view matchup in a long time for any promotion. I think the last time was probably like Dominion with New Japan because they had a whole House of Torture fest on that fucking show. So yeah, dud. So Ryan Nemeth, your LVP for the show overall. All right, that's going to bring us to a close on our TNA Genesis 2026 review. Final call for comments. We got Jordan who says, oh my God, do you hear that?
Yeah, somebody's music is playing.
Sorry about that. What the hell? All right, moment of the night was light.
Sit. Somebody's fucking with SP3 from the upside down.
It's like the Demogorgons is coming to get me right now. Jordan saying moment of the night, liked the send off for JDC. I also love a card with the Righteous Ali and Cedric. Great women's title match. 6.5 is fair. He also says he's also basing this only on our review, so I appreciate that. He says, great review, SP3 and Chris G. And we got MVP, JDC, LVP, visa issues.
That is a good LVP. The administrative office is the LVP for not getting those visa issues corrected well ahead of time.
Chris G, let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they will see you again.
Yes, you can find me on X at True Hill Chris G and on Instagram and TikTok at THCG. And you could also find me here on the True Hill Heat Wrestling channel, of course. And then on the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment channel, True Hill Heat Check, and a few other things that we got going on there. And keep an eye out for those shorts. We'll be putting them out daily.
Indeed, check out Chris G. He's doing great stuff with the shorts. Doing great stuff on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. So go over and subscribe over there. We will be live tomorrow over there at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time with our Power Book 4 Season 3, Episode 10, Beginning of the End, the series finale review, where we're going to be talking all about how they closed up shop for Force and set up the Legacy series on the last episode. So join us for that. Myself, Miss Chrissy Love, will be live tomorrow at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Go over and check out me and Chris G on that channel with True Hill Heat Check number 20, where we did our top 10 greatest NBA teams of all time. A lot of controversy where we place certain teams, but also you can check out True Hill Heat flagship podcast 364. Myself, the True Draw Josh, and John Escudero of Dirt Sheet Radio, breaking everything down from the week that was in pro wrestling, and a lot of talk about the TNA on AMC premiere on that show for sure, plus an epic rant from John Escudero that you can need to check out. But I will be back on this channel on Tuesday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, with Rated Raw Review reviewing Monday Night Raw tomorrow afternoon in Belfast, Ireland. For you in the U.S., you can watch it and then join us on Tuesday, me and Top Guy JJ. But for Chris G, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our TNA Genesis 2026 review. We are signing off until next time.
Bring back Curry Man. He'll save him.
Curry Man, save us all.